Man, oh man, this is going to be a crazy show tonight. What is going on, guys? It's Adam again, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight is going to be a very special show. We'll be right back to tell you why. Stick around. Remember, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably from my views and anyone who helps the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, we are going to be going over a lot of stuff. If you've never been here before, my name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. You can actually follow along any of the articles that we're going to show you here today. We've actually taken the time to back them up. If you actually go to our website, marfooglenews.com, you will see that we have actually organized it by thumbnail. So when you see this thumbnail on our website, you will be able to click on it, and you will find that we link every tweet, every video, every piece of evidence, every video, everything that you guys give us is going to be right here. So you can actually follow along, or if you are watching later, you can actually go back and read the articles all the way through. If we just hit the headlines, then you can go back and read the whole thing. Now, on the bottom, this is where Dex comes in. I'm going to introduce him as well. He's going to be updating the caller info as it happens. So if somebody literally calls in with a video of something that's going on downtown Seattle, we're going to have it on here and linked for you to see. In fact, we're going to be monitoring breaking news as this show goes on and progresses. So with that being said, Dex, my co-host, producer, best friend, what is going on, brother?
Hey, Adam, I am here, and hello, Foogle fam. Kind of a crazy night in the news.
So, obviously, right now as we're speaking, you said that the mayor... Wait, okay, so lots of things are going on around the country. We're going to go into all sorts of stuff, including testing weapons in space. But what is going on with this, the mayor? In fact, there's two different things with mayors right now. One of them's at a restaurant. Is that right?
Yeah, so we've got interesting things with the Portland mayor, which I'm sure everybody heard about. But what's happening right this moment, apparently there's a bunch of protesters, like 1,000 or more, at the street where Lightfoot, which is the mayor of Chicago, lives. They're right at her house. Of course, they're blocked off now because she has security and lots of police there to protect her and her street. But that protest seems to be building.
Well, it's funny because isn't she kind of on the side of it, kind of supporting it? But then in previous cities, we've seen that once they come to the mayor's house, like in Seattle here, one of the people that actually stood up for the protesters had her house vandalized, and literally her view on the entire thing changed overnight. It was pretty crazy, actually. It was they spray painted her house. They broke a couple of the windows in the backyard. That's pretty scary. Luckily, she wasn't there. But again, she was totally supportive of it, and they went and did this. So again, that happened, and then you said that somebody actually joined?
Last night in Portland, the mayor came out and decided to join the protesters and try to participate, I guess, and stand in solidarity with the protesters, which, by the way, are the ones that are like literally torching. You can call them, some people call them protesters, but they are torching and setting fire to the federal courthouse. And on the front lines, I guess, because the feds are there defending the property, which they have, an obligation to and a right to, and they should be, because it's federal property. They're using tear gas to push back the protesters, and the mayor is one of them, and I guess he gets tear gassed in the process. But then later, the same protesters he's standing with, like, then start to scream and yell at him, and they have to run him off into, get him out of the crowd because they're all angry with the mayor. So it's just absolutely crazy.
I wonder if he went with an entourage, or did he just kind of like spur of the moment says, yeah, heck yeah, I'm going to get out in the front lines, and then...
No, he had an entourage, and he had goggles and stuff, but yeah. And he even made a speech at one point with a bullhorn or with a microphone.
Okay. Well, we'll see what goes on with that. I'm going to get right into the news tonight. We've got a lot to cover in a very small amount of time. Now, again, we're going to try to keep it under 2 hours now. It has done phenomenally better if we get under 2 hours because it doesn't take 10 hours to process the video. For whatever reason, if we go over 2 hours, it will only process the last 2 hours. So if we go 2.5 hours, it will only process the last 2 hours. So then for the people watching for the next 10 hours of replay, it ends up starting in about 30 minutes in. So then they don't get the fun intro and all of our important notices. So without further ado, let's get into it. Again, we've got some exciting stuff happening this week. We've got some surprises for you as well. Hopefully we're going to be able to get someone on the show. We'll talk about that later. All right. Now it says Russia has secretly tested anti-satellite weapons in space, says U.S. Space Command. It says Russia has secretly tested an anti-satellite weapon in space, warns U.S. Space Command. Its experts said that the Kremlin's military push to use weapons in space puts, quote, U.S. and allied space assets at serious risk. Now, we've all known this. We've been talking about Space Force for the entire time Space Force has existed. People, of course, made fun of Space Force when it first came out, but now people are starting to understand why we need one. There are tons of weird things I've pointed out. And that's not sarcasm. That's an actual cough, but not that cough. Don't want to get traced. We have pointed out that in China, just a few months ago in April, had a amphibious assault carrier, their brand new assault carrier, catch fire and billow at their docks for multiple days. Now, again, it's kind of weird, that, say, an assault carrier made out of steel would burn for this many days and it would spread through all of it. But it's even weirder when just a few days ago, probably about a week ago, we had a U.S. amphibious assault carrier, almost the kind of U.S. version of the same ship, catch fire and billow for 5 days. It spread throughout the entire thing, and apparently the whole time their fight was so it wouldn't get to the gas tanks or accelerants, which I'm thinking, how does it burn in a steel ship? Those ships are literally made... again, if anyone's ever been on a tour of a museum boat or any kind of Navy boat, they're mostly metal. They are made so if they get hit with a submarine missile or, a torpedo, that doesn't exist, a torpedo, part of the ship can get hit and the rest of the ship can continue. In fact, today's technology, any of the newer ships, these things are absolutely badass. They could have half of it and it will still float and still be operational, or at least some of the crazy new ones. So with that being said, how did both of these ships catch fire, if not sabotage? And is there sabotage in there? My theory, and this is just my theory and my opinion, is that this could be some sort of heat kind of weapon or something from space that's not visible that could literally heat up the ship and set things ablaze. How would things be caught? I mean, you're thinking a Navy ship. It doesn't have, fancy curtains or anything. It doesn't have, probably doesn't have tablecloths. It's set up to be efficient. It's set up to be functional, not fashionable. Of course, you've got bedding and things like that could catch fire, but just still don't understand how that all happened. But my point is that they are doing something up there for sure. We know this for a fact. We know that they are actually planning different things. We have shown you proof that all of the experts, including Peter Fry and different people that are in Congress, are now screaming at the top of their lungs saying that we need to worry about an EMP. Again, it says in a press release, U.S. Space Command said its researchers have evidence that Russia conducted a non-destructive test of a space-based anti-satellite weapon. It says Russia injected a new object into orbit from Cosmos 2543. This is a Russian satellite which earlier this year located looming close to an American satellite. It makes me think of just what I said last week about the movie Gravity with George Clooney and Sandra Bullock. That movie actually showed a fictitious event where in 2013, a Russian satellite was shot down by themselves. They apparently nuked their own satellite because it was a spy satellite or something like it. And what happened is it exploded into shrapnel, and then that shrapnel caused a chain reaction, knocking out satellites all over the world, and it started this spin, and all of these satellites were taking out each other. Once they got moving, they basically all went. It took out the ISS, it took out all this stuff. The movie is obviously overdramatic and exacerbated, but the point is that kind of some sort of predictive programming? We've talked about that a lot lately, especially with movies like Greenland getting put out and then getting pulled back just for like no reason at all. Why would you untease a movie? Doesn't make much sense at all. But again, with this, it makes me think, what if something else is going on up there? What if they knock down one of our satellites? They have been testing, all the different countries, U.S., Russia, and China, practicing on how to knock their own satellites down. It's kind of like playing flag football or practicing a football team against themselves in teams of, in teams broken up through their own team. They practice this kind of stuff so they can then use it against their enemies in the future. There are tons of war games going on. There's, of course, a ton of exercises, and those have beefed up an incredible amount. Again, I've pointed out, and I've actually shown you the funds. We've shown you the documents proving that Europe is actually putting all of their money not into terrorism or something else. We'll say tourism. Only with hijab, and they are putting it from, El Bakar to Russia. And we proved that. Theresa May came out. They basically said that our biggest enemies were China and Russia. Now, some say this is all distraction, this and that's fine. It very well may be. But I will tell you this, with the amount of debt because of CV19, we're talking about they need to make some money up. And what makes money more than a conflict? In fact, every world conflict that we've had has had some come up extremely, come back extremely as far as financially. What if there are sources or powers that are actually supporting both sides? Also, I've been talking to several people, several friends. I am not an expert on the Middle East, but we do have people that are more informed than us. I've been talking to several people, and they feel like the two eyes are about to go at it. And of course, is real, and the other one, I ran to the store. So, again, we're not fighting people, we're fighting algorithms here. So if I say anything weird, just ask somebody in chat. They all know. Now, again, them releasing this object into space, it says its threatening action was similar to an on-orbit activity conducted by Russia in 2017, 3 years ago, and inconsistent with the system's stated mission as an inspector satellite. It says the Russian satellite system used to conduct this on-orbit weapons test is the same satellite system we raised concerns about earlier this year, when Russia maneuvered near a U.S. government satellite. Now, I want to point out, last year we had the ESAs, all of the, in fact, actually, Dex, were you with me when ESA's satellites went down for a period of time? They didn't even have emergency services. It was like something like 24 satellites. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that.
That wasn't even a year ago, I think, because you've been with me almost basically over a little bit over a year. So it was about the beginning of when you started helping me, and I think that happened, and people didn't realize, like, this is real stuff. If it happens, we end up losing everything. We are completely dependent on all of the technology, all of the internet, everything else. So something is going on here, and it's not going to be a fun sight. Again, this is what we end up recommending. If you guys want to help the show and end up protecting yourself, you guys should be looking into EMP Shield with all of the current events. This is kind of a no-brainer, in my opinion. Again, this actually protects you against all three phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3. It is actually the same items or the same company that is being used by DHS, by DOD, and now they are officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. These guys are no joke. This is also Keystone tested military standard. Again, these things are amazing. They're 100% American made. Everybody should have them. One thing that to think about, somebody says, well, what if the grid never comes back on? Again, you should have this on your generator. You should have it on your car, on your house. If the grid never comes back down, as long as you have a generator, you're set. As far as a car, if you have a bug out spot, how are you going to get there? These are all things that we have to think about now instead of later. Even if you do not get this through us, go through a different creator, go through them without us. I would suggest going through a creator because you actually get another discount on top of the actual sales they always have going on. But again, go and look into this no matter what. I believe you can even ask to put these in apartment buildings. Make sure to check on the website. Again, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/EMP. That actually helps the show, and I believe it will eventually save lives if that possibility comes true. All right, and then again, dramatic moment. World Trade Center and Statue of Liberty are struck by lightning as thunderstorms savaged the East Coast. I like how they say savaged instead of ravaged. I don't know if they meant that, but either way, there's some amazing pictures here, and it's almost unnatural. If you look at it, it's just absolutely crazy. By the way, I just want to give humongous props to the photographer of this. I believe this is Dan Martland, and he posted this to Twitter. It is literally one of the most gorgeous shots of New York I think that has ever existed. For him to catch this, I don't even know how he had his settings, but that is absolutely gorgeous. I don't think there is a better picture of New York that does not have the Twin Towers in it. Again, that is the WTO, or the World Trade, not the WTO, the World Trade Center, the new one, and man, look at that. And it is purple lightning. Now, of course, I've titled this, again, man-made or natural. Some of the videos going around, people are asking if it was natural because there are some videos that actually show it what it looks like. It's striking 4 times. It actually, I'll show you this next picture. This is another one. Look at this. Multiple strikes on this, but this is understandable because it has this this metal piece here. But again, this, look at this. Absolutely unbelievable skyline. This looks fake. I mean, this is breathtaking. If you're a photographer and know what went into that, it's absolutely amazing. Now, this is also really crazy. So this is part of a video that was posted, and a lot of people are saying that this actually struck multiple times in the same spot. Dex, you said that it very well could be the video, or it could be the lightning pulsing or the camera, right? That was your thought on this?
Well, yeah, I was wondering. I thought it was the lightning pulsing through its connecting point. Like it comes up from the ground and it comes down from the sky, right? It meets, and then it just like surges to release. And it just seemed like the way that video looked like it might have been, surging multiple times, which gave us the visual effect of, looking like it was striking 3 or 4 times in the same spot.
Well, sometimes they do the GIF, or they loop it. They take a small, section of it, and then they'll loop it and loop it and loop it. But this didn't look like it because when I looked at it and I looked at it in slow-mo, it looked like different strikes in the clouds as it happened. It was brighter in one time and dimmer in the other, and it did look like it was multiple strikes. One thing is that we are having extreme weather go way up, and I said in the very beginning of me even being on YouTube, What is really crazy is even some of the viewers that have actually gone through and taken the time to go through my old videos and find what we said based on our sources, and it's pretty nuts. It almost lines up, our 482 days lined up with the beginning of CV, and the fact that this is a quote I was saying for 2.5 years. In fact, Dex, you know who it's from, that in the next 3 years, not only earthquakes, asteroids, but extreme weather would triple. But not only that, the world would be unrecognizable. That it would literally, there would become come a point where it is unrecognizable. And I would have to say, we are at that point. You literally have the entire population, or almost the entire population of the world, wearing masks. It is not the same place. It is the new normal is what they call it, but there's absolutely nothing normal about it. So we all know this, and it is very crazy. We've got about 11,000 people total watching right now. Thank you guys for all coming to the show. Again, Cutthroat Mom, thank you for being here. Thank you for, of course, being here tonight. Earth Pond, Rock for Life, and Channel Jammer all just got subscriptions from Amy R. Amy R, welcome back. Again, I just want to make sure I hope you know you can come no matter what. Go Hawks, Renegade PD, we've got Greatest is Love. Amy R, thank you so much. It looks like you are just going off and giving out Marfia badges. With the Marfia badges, not only do you stick out, but it does show support for the show. So thank you. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Kelly2334 is in the house as always. I don't think you've missed a show in a month. So awesome. Here comes the Mountain, Dixie Doe, Greatest Love, Maui Racing Realtor, Alpha Girl. We've got Unicorn Forest. And then we've got plenty of folks. And I saw some early birds into the YouTube realm. In fact, in the very first minutes before we were even live, Dawn Mudrick says Darth Putin wants to rule the cosmos. We better get our laser beams focused on before it's too late. Dawn, thank you for your support, and thank you for being on time. In fact, you were earlier than we were. Travis Hartfield, thank you so much for your super chat. If you do that again, because I don't believe I've met you yet, make sure that you actually write something so I can get to know you, so you can actually do a shout out or anything else. Let's see here. And then Shannon Rosewell, thank you, and the same goes to you. You can always end up writing something there. Let me see there. Backwoods Ingenuity, live free, travel light, work hard. Love, Foogle fam, Adam, Dex, and mods. Willie Fix It, thank you for following. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out, and I will find you, and I will shout you out. Tina Brown, thank you for what you do for spreading the news. I back you 100%. Daryl Devine says Tucker Carlson reported tonight that the Pentagon is about to release info on, quote, recovered craft not of this world. Clips all over Twitter. Distraction? Well, there's been a rumor for a very, very long time that they were going to do a false alien invasion, or that we would have a real alien invasion. I was just talking to Jacob Israel the other day, and we were just talking about, in general, just the out there possibility that these comets were actually not comets at all, that these interstellar visitors, the Oumuamua and the second one, were actually scout ships for an alien race of some sort. And we were literally joking about it, but what if that was the truth? I know that there is a good chunk of our audience that does believe that, and then there's another good chunk that says that they are not aliens, that they are fallen angels. Either way you see it, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in space, and anyone who spends their time looking up knows. Think about the weird signaling, like Elon Musk saying, look up to the skies on Twitter. What is, somebody with that much money that is in the position he is, literally in the know, literally contracted by the government, not only has talked about meteor defense, but also is in charge of a company that sends things up to space. It's pretty nuts for him to say some of the things that he says. It's almost like it's just right out in the open what he's talking about. Pretty crazy, if you ask me. In fact, let's see here. as far as that goes, I mean, we're going to talk about that. We got to find that. Dex, can you look up Tucker Carlson and see what that actually was and if that is a fact?
Yeah, he's reporting it. I see it all over Twitter. The Tucker clips all over Twitter. I haven't listened to it yet.
And is this breaking like right now? Is this, you said tonight?
No, it would have been, it would have been a few hours ago when his show was on. I think it's like 8:00 Eastern. So it's probably repeating about right now on the West Coast.
Wow. Lady Smith and Reddy says, but what does false invasion look like? Well, it would look like an invasion, period. That's what I think. Beautiful photos, says Tuck Pup. Thank you so much. Again, looks like MRSA1 came in with a Ninja Genie. Thank you for your massive support. MRSA1, thank you for being here almost every night as well. Sailing Dogs, Miss Jackson 906, Youper Girl, Serenity PA, Edgy Whalen. You guys are all awesome. Thank you. And Susan Loves Huskies, thank you for your support. One Adam 12. And thank you for all the new followers. Man, you guys are just killing it over there on D-Love. Skyla, I believe that's what it was. Karma is here. Thank you for being on a 3-month sub there. And then Tower Bear, thank you for gifting everybody stuff. Tower Bear just going nuts in the chat. Thank you. Bounce Back, Tower Bear. You are a madman. Thank you so much. Shy the Coffee, and then Butthead just super chatted $20. I don't know where Beavis is, but please write a message to him. Always write something so I can get to know you. Mosquitoes and Butterflies Type of Life says, watching the replays, miss everyone studying for nursing exams. Pray for me. God bless Marf family. Thank you. Mosquitoes and Butterfly, I'm sorry that you haven't made it to too many live shows, but we are still here. And I appreciate you being here for, I think, over a year now. Shinobi Juan, I appreciate you. +1 shield. +1 shield. Huh. Restoring Light Church of Christ Pastor April Shine says, you guys are my favorite news out there. Keep on keeping it real. Much love. Thank you guys. Thank you all for your support. You guys know we are building something amazing. So thank you guys for being a part of it. Thank you for being a part of something bigger. All right. And then we have T-Man telling Putin hopes to avoid U.S., Russia, China arms race. I don't know why I said China. China. Maybe I should start saying that from now on. President DT told his Russian counterpart. I don't know why I said that either. It's like my brain is saying don't say it because it's filtered, but it's not. Anyways, it says Vladimir Putin on Thursday that he hopes to avoid an expensive, quote, expensive U.S. arms race with Russia and China. Washington and Moscow are preparing negotiations on a successor to the New START treaty, capping their country's nuclear arsenals. However, China has so far rejected pressure from the T-Man administration to join the talks, saying its arsenal is far smaller than the two former Cold War foes. So their argument is that they don't have as many nukes as the big boys. But again, how many do you really need? I mean, you're talking about world destruction there. I do know that a lot of them were supposedly destroyed, but there's so many that are out there. There are misplaced nuclear weapons all over the world, and they don't have them accounted for. That's what's crazy to me. There are black market nuclear weapons, and I'm just very surprised that we have not seen one yet. Or have we? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, what if something happened and they ended up covering it up, saying it was a natural disaster or something else? We don't know. Japan was weird. That whole 9.0 earthquake, I didn't understand that at all because, in fact, the scientists that I talked to, when I talked to Chris Goldfinger, the lead seismologist of the Cascadia subduction zone, he said that earthquake wasn't supposed to happen. They literally built all their buildings up to an 8.6 because they didn't think it was possible for a 9.0 or a Cascadia subduction zone type earthquake, which is what they had, a fault like that, a subduction zone that cracked like that. So lots of weird things there. It says, in a call with Putin, T-Man reiterated his hope for avoiding an expensive three-way arms race between China, Russia, and the United States, and looked forward to progress on upcoming arms control negotiations in Vienna. Seriously, one day they are literally like kicking people out. The next day they're pretending like they're negotiating. This is all theater, in my opinion. What do you guys think about it? Again, now a lot of people are saying that I over in the Middle East are literally right at each other's throats there, about to go to conflict. If that does happen, we, of course, would have to back them up or something. Everybody would be jumping in on that one. So hopefully that is not the truth. But you never know. You just never know. If you guys want to protect yourself against cyber hacking and things like this, you should have a virtual private network. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. If you don't have a VPN, you should have one. It blocks all your IP from the bad guys. And again, you can have it up onto 6 devices. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN to get Nord. It is the #1 VPN. All right. And then we're going to go right into it. Chinese researcher is being sheltered in Beijing's San Francisco consulate, says FBI. So, Dex, I want you to chime in today. So, yesterday we talked about this. This was a big deal. Can you explain kind of what happened yesterday?
This broke last night, right as we were ending the show. So apparently, there is a person or a suspect that they were looking into, and they have, a warrant out for. And that person said that they were not part of the military, the Chinese military, to get some of the access to this schooling, and not just schooling, but other information, things like that. And that apparently, it seems to me like they're looking into him for spying, obviously. And now this person is, when they went in to raid the house and do a search warrant where the person lived, they at that point, that person just before or right around that time took off to the consulate, and now is being held in the consulate, and the FBI wants them.
And again, with them being this is this alone could be a conflict starting event here if it went wrong, but of course it never does. They always talk and they end up kind of working it out and negotiating. Obviously, they don't want to go to conflict over something like this compared to all of the big stuff that's happened in the past. In fact, we have had many times in the past where any expert will tell you there have been secretly times where we were about to go to WW3, or some consider WW4, over much bigger things than this. So am I too worried about this? Not exactly. I'm more worried about what is going on behind all of this. Why they burned their own consulate. What information were they burning? Are they planning something massive in the United States? Are they planning to take over and do all sorts of things that we of course hear the chatter on? If that was the case, then I don't think that any of us would really fare well here. In this situation, this is just bad for pretty much everybody. With this, we're going to be following it very closely. Tomorrow, I'm hoping to have at least a few minutes with somebody who will be able to kind of go deeper into that as well. So let's see here. Wolves, thank you guys for being here. Shastina, something definitely up, says Shastina. Kathleen Harrison, thank you for being here. Lilitaw, Willifant, Red Dawn 2.0, question mark. Yes, that's a big question. I love beagles. Thanks for being here. I would read your comment, but it just says smelly. Smelly cat? Is that a Friends quote? What did Japan do before bombing is in WW2? What did they do? Oh my goodness. Dex, can you answer that? What did Japan do before doing their run in WW2? Do you remember?
I'm sorry, I did not hear it, and
so one of the comments was incredibly kind of a aha moment. What did Japan do right before WW2 as far as China burning the information in their consulate? Didn't Japan burn a lot of their documents right before they did Pearl Harbor?
Oh yeah, maybe. I have to go back and look at that. It sounds very familiar. I'm not that. Yeah.
Holy moly. That is, wow. Before Pearl Harbor, they burned all the papers in the consulate. That's a big oh crap. That's for sure. Who said that? Okay, a lot of people said that in different ways. In different ways I won't say on the show. I think you guys all understand how that could be very bad.
We'll have to see if they start burning and all. Like I said, we reported last night there was like 5 or 6. So now there'll be 5 consulates in addition to the embassy. So we got to see if this is a repeat action.
That's a scary thought. And people keep reverting. For you guys that are new who just followed tonight or just followed this week, just know, so people have accused us of being fear porn or this or that. That's a bunch of bull, because we actually have been here for a very long time pushing everybody we possibly can. We do something called the Love Mob, where we've helped over 1,000 creators get to 1,000 subscribers or more. What that means is they can actually monetize, they can actually grow, they can actually spread their own truth. Normally, channels don't do that. In fact, they usually are competitive. They think that everybody is competition. They don't want 50, in this niche, truthers coming up right behind them. It sometimes backfires, but we've done it. And that's because I believe that we need to all help each other. We all need to push each other up. As far as everything that's been going on, we look at it like this, and this is a group thing. People have been here every single night for 2 years now. In fact, most of my mods have been here for 3. The military, the government, everyone prepares nonstop. They drill. And the reason why is because they're preparing for it mentally, not only physically. Yes, you want, just like if you practice anything, muscle memory is everything. So if you are a basketball player doing a free throw 1,000,000 times, once you get it down, it just comes naturally. Like riding a bike, muscle memory. Once you get it down, it's all good. The same is with preparement. Back in the 60s, back when the whole JFK thing was going on, conspiracy theorists and all this, that was created by the CIA to kind of pull the rug out from people who thought other than, good narrative thoughts on the JFK case. But that's carried over into today's day and age, where if you prepare for something, you are considered crazy. Well, we don't think you're crazy here. In fact, most all of us will try to accept you for whatever views you have and then continue our conversation when we disagree. Just try to skip right over it and say, okay, what do we have in common? Because this is a very crucial time in our history where we need to literally get together and we need to push each other up. Screw all this BS about ego and this and that. We really need to come together. And that includes YouTubers, that includes viewers. We all need to become something of, a pusher. We've all got to push each other up. So again, this is not to fear. This is to get it into our head so many times that when it does happen, and in my belief, it will, we will all be ready, and we won't be panicked. Most of you are the matriarchs or the patriarchs of your families. We need to be taking care of our own. We need to be ready when this happens. Our wives or husbands, sometimes they're on a whole different page. So we've got to be the ones that really get prepared. Except for in one case, Jen Lay Awake, that's awesome, says, Marv, you are the man. Never thought Baldylocks Awake would love you after so long. He's now a fanboy. That's, of course, her husband. And Jen Lay Awake and Baldylocks Awake, I really appreciate you guys both coming in. And I really appreciate both of you calling in sometimes. Like, you guys are really awesome. It's really amazing to have people like you, and you guys are exactly why the Foogle fam is so amazing. People don't understand what this is all about. Seaver Hamlin, thank you for following. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Amy R., thank you again. I think you've made a ton of Mafia badges tonight. Absolutely crazy. Thank you guys. And people, please thank Amy R. for all of her support. And again, she's actually gifting things out to the entire audience here. So thank you. Paul Shaggy, Susan Loves Huskies. Thank you guys. Love and Light 777. Here Comes the Mountain. Wings and Wags Patriot. San Fran China Spy could be defecting undercover. That's a good point. And then Catherine Willie, again, thank you for your support. Make sure to write a message if you can. Anthony Vincent says, found you after youngest son diagnosed with brain cancer. You are a ray of light during dark days. In RV with family, far from home. Spread thin money mentally. Thank you for what you do. Man, that's awesome, Anthony. I'm hoping that we can all pray for your youngest son. I've been following a couple of my friends who are creators who are going through the same type of thing. One of my favorite creators on YouTube has successfully gone through and got a tumor removed from his head. He is a beat maker, Accurate Beats. His channel, he actually makes beats with the same thing I use, which is an MPC. He's a sample-based beat maker, but he had a surgery, which about 5 months ago, his face was all kind of down because of the damage it did to his brain. He is almost back to pre-surgery. It's been amazing watching his recovery, and I hope we get to watch your son's. We'll all be praying, and I'll be praying. If we can't ask for prayer for Anthony Vincent, I'm sorry your son is having that issue. Central Mass Attitude, thank you for your support. Joe Ty, I really do, Anthony, I hope your son is okay. I can't imagine. Every time I hear about that kind of stuff, I think about my own kids. Joe Ty, much love from Cleveland, Ohio. Keep it up. JDS, able-bodied. Hi, Marf. Thank you for the best news on YouTube. Congrats on your new Marfoogle baby. May God bless you and yours. Always much love to you and the Foogle fam. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And able-bodied, you've been here for over 2 years. I appreciate you more than you know. Go Hawks says, go hard to prepare for 10 residents in my elderly home. Got so much food, but how much is enough? That's a good question, Go Hawks. MRSA1 says, love this fam. I hope you do. Just imagine what's going on that we don't know about. Callie Kit Kat has a very good point there. So, again, there is so much going on behind the scenes that we honestly need to have each other's backs on everything right now. So I hope you guys understand that. I'm going to go to the next piece here, and this is pretty crazy. I'm going to be careful here. BG, the big old BG, warns multiple CVV scenes, doses likely to be needed, and schools should stay closed for another year. Why are people, and I'm sorry, how did this gentleman become the voice of everyone? I know he's a millionaire, and I know he's spent, probably almost close to a trillionaire. I know he spent half of his wealth on humanitarian efforts, but even with half of his wealth, he is still one of the richest people on the planet, so he can afford it. On top of that, he can literally buy a city if he wants to. He can literally just do whatever he wants in all of life. He can literally he could buy a $100 million mansion and literally make a 50,000-foot pool and fill it with hot dogs if he wants to. Why is he so set on being a part of this so much? He wants to save lives. One thing I think of, and if you watch his TED Talk and if you watch his specials, it's a very scary thing, because when you think of who is in the very top tiers of these things, right? Just consider, I try to play, devil's advocate here. What if you are one of the most elite people in the world, one of the most richest elites out there, and you have a small group of friends? You don't associate with people of lower tiers. Now, again, you might jokingly do an interview with, a dorky tech YouTuber, and you might do some press releases. You might even have a couple of friends that you've known your whole life, Maybe you have some family members that you're attached to because you are attached to them by family. But other than that, you do not talk to anybody. And in fact, your family is probably all rich too, because this man has probably made them all elites. What if you have inside information about the earth, the health of the earth, or some wacky study that they did that said, oh, well, if we had, 80% less humans, the earth would be doing better. And in your sick brain, you think that saving the earth and saving the human race is more important than, say, 6 billion people. It kind of puts it in perspective, right? In their head, they think, or they might think, that they are some sort of hero. They might think that getting rid of a lot of people would actually be a good thing. In fact, when they do go in public places, he is probably treated like crap. Mind you, the guy is not exactly liked. Nobody really likes somebody that has that much money. So he probably, he used to drive around Seattle in like a piece of crap car. He would drive his own cars. He didn't have a chauffeur. Now he has a security team. Things have changed in the last 20 years. Even when he was 50 millionaire, I remember when he hit 50 million or something like that, 50 billion. It was something like literally 50 million. He was the richest man back in the day when that wasn't, it was still a lot of money. But now the guy is one of the most hated people out there. And imagine his experiences with us, the sheep down at the very bottom in public. He probably thinks that, we don't deserve a breath, right? People go, oh, no, I'll argue that. He goes to third world countries and helps those people. I think he would rather help them than any of the Americans. And that's just my view. Or he might help children. And as long as those children are trained in the ways of what he likes. It says, Billy has warned that multiple doses of any CV vaccine could be necessary as he slammed DT's handling of the pandemic. It says the Microsoft GG says serious mistakes have been made by the White House as he predicted schools could be closed until fall of 2021. Who are you? Speaking during an interview with Norah Donnell on CBS News, Gates said that he had faith in the development of a CV vaccine. However, he warned it could take an unbelievably big number of doses to beat the virus. He said none of the vaccines at this point appear like they'll work with a single dose. That was the hope at the very beginning. However, he said that the solution will improve over time, even though there will be a lot of uncertainty about the V. It says the philanthropist who is worth $98 billion. So again, I wonder, that thing is, it just literally just keeps going up. He can literally live the rest of his life off the interest off of $500 million and be rich. Has offered $300 million to fund research into the vaccine. So he's putting his own easy earned money at this point. His money is earning him money. He has described the closures of schools as the biggest cost of the pandemic. Meanwhile, they're probably setting up whole different curriculums. In fact, from college back, they're going to change it and they're going to put in all sorts of stuff, I'm sure. Because guess who's going to donate all the money to the schools? And those schools aren't going to say, oh, you just paid our entire debt. Oh, we're going to not take your suggestions. I think they're going to change schools. That's just a side opinion. I think that they're going to put in a lot of different things here. But who knows? By the way, let's see here. I do want to make sure you guys know about our notifications. If you are missing notifications, if YouTube or DLive is not getting them right away, make sure to sign up for ours. We can guarantee you a notification. Go to marfooglenews.com, and when you get there, you will actually see that it will say Marfoogle News would like to send you notifications. Now, normally I actually press no on those because it's usually a news site or something like that. But if you do want to get notifications for our live shows and you point out that you got one of my notifications a week later, then I would have you sign up for this. Again, it's a red bell in the lower right-hand corner, or it will be a white box that pops up on your first time on the website. If you go there, you can actually get our push notifications. iOS is actually coming soon, so if you do have an Android, it works, or many devices, almost all web browsers work. It's just that iOS. Again, you can actually, I believe in Apple, you can go in, if you have Chrome or something like that, you might be able to do it. All right, and then huge, hovering and silent, the mystery of the black triangle UFOs. This is history.com, by the way. Why are these coming out right now? Why is there so much talk about UFOs? Why is Tucker Carlson talking about it tonight? Well, maybe they're setting us up for something. It's kind of crazy. What do you think about this, Dex? As far as this UFO style, the black triangles, and what is going on here as far as this goes?
Hey, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is. I kind of lean back to the idea that we're getting more of this in our face, right? And it seems like the more we get, revelations, like the military started talking about tracking them. They released information about, videos that they were tracking them. And, now we've got a big mainstream thing from the History Channel or from history.com about, what's going on with these bigger, slower floating, UFOs. Now, I also kind of question in my mind some of these bigger ones that people have seen is how much of that could be from the holographic technology that we've talked a lot about, but, and we've had some people call in and actually confirm they're working with it, or they've worked with it and they know about it, where they can actually project these types of images in the sky. And what does that mean to this story?
Well, not only, people have talked about Project Bluebeam for years now, and there's many documentaries that kind of explain what that might entail. And some people think that that's totally wacky or wild, but there's actual technology that would be able to project things like that in the sky. Some of the designs that most people kind of accepted as is multiple possible satellites that would all project a 3D image in the sky and would be able to actually make us think that there was something up there. There was, of course, the Chinese floating city. In China, there was this floating city in the clouds, and it was seen by thousands. Some said it was an effect, or it was a shadow, that the sun hit just right and the earth reflected it. Some said it was a special an effect that happens when the sun hits the water, and then that water reflects and it creates like a prism and shined out, all this stuff, whatever. Or it could have been Project Bluebeam, or it could have just been heaven just poofing up for a second. We don't know.
But even if it was, right? Even if it was a prism effect of light and whatnot, that just goes to prove that you can make a visual image like a city in the sky. It happened to be done. If it happened to be done naturally, that means it's probably really easy to do, man-made.
Artificially. Yeah, as far as when you see the pictures of that, in fact, I'll show you guys real quick. That was really, really nuts. But they would be way better than this even. Let's see. Chinese floating city. Let's see if we can find this in images. Look at this. This is some crazy stuff. It almost looks like a castle, like you're looking into a different dimension. What about that, Heaven's Castle or something? What if heaven was in the clouds? It was just in an invisibility cloak. It's a crazy thought. And again, thousands of people saw it. So, I mean, it's kind of like the instance, which very well could have been early on Bluebeam, where was it Colorado? Was it Colorado that had the UFO go over it that was like a mile wide and even the mayor, the local officials saw it, politicians saw it, sheriff saw it, everybody in the whole town. I can't remember what city is it. In fact, I know the chat will help me out. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It was where the big triangular shape UFO went over the entire city and everyone saw it. It's a very famous instance in UFOs. In fact, let me pop it up. Arizona, that's right. Northern Arizona and Phoenix, the Phoenix Lights. That's what it was called. Thank you guys for reminding me. I appreciate that. Virtual school here, scary. It's going to be virtual school everywhere. They said that they were going to do 2 to 3 days a week, blah, 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 and then they changed it back. Arizona. Susan Loves says, so tired. I'm sorry. We need some coffee for Susan. The floating city photo was debunked. Rockefeller. This isn't the only time. So a lot of people have actually seen this, though. There's been plenty of instances. In fact, there are many, many more. I don't know how you would debunk what people witnessed. I guess they could explain it. If that's what you're saying. Again, or you could say that it was fog and it was the buildings above the fog. But this isn't the only instance. In fact, this is just one of the more popular ones that I could think of. As far as blue beam, there's tons. In fact, there's tons of stories of this. But blue beam, I'll just show you kind of a graph on how this would kind of work if it does work. And I'm sure, yes. So this is kind of one of the best infographics I've seen based on it. It would have multiple satellites that would all kind of project objects. And this is just a theory that they would create kind of a UFO that would come down and people would see it. There was military talk of using something like this to fool the enemy in situations. In fact, they were even going to try to use this in the Middle East, or not this, but a system like it to make it look like a huge army was coming to scare off people. That was one instance. And I've heard tons of rumors of different, war stories of how they made, somebody said, and I think that was a fake one, where they said that they made like 150 foot Jesus, and it was, they put hallucinogen. They sprayed hallucinogen with a plane or something. They dropped it on the battlefield, and then they projected a Jesus of some sort and scared them away, and they had a religious moment and just ran and dropped all their weapons. I don't know if that was fake or not. You guys can confirm or deny that one. I heard that maybe that was a fictitious story. I don't know. I thought that would be pretty wild, though. We have used hallucinogenics in the battlefield before. That I do know that they've been leaking kind of different stuff out through CIA, has tested things, and I'm sure they've done a lot of really creepy stuff out there. But what do you guys think about it? Do you think these UFOs are coming in because of a impending false invasion? Put it in the chat. See the 135 million underwater lab designed by Fabien Cousteau and Yves Bihar. Now, I've actually tweeted a bunch of stuff about these billionaire subs. Have you guys seen this? There are real companies making these subs, and this is one thing I want to point out. These companies have made them, and they, if you have enough money, if you have about $2 billion and up, you can actually get a full-on, it's almost like a yacht, but this thing is like a submarine. They make them the same way that military submarines are made, only they make them into cushy, beautiful lifestyle, 5,000, 10,000 square foot submarine houses. So you're talking about the richest elite of elites. They do have these. And yet no one has ever seen them. In fact, the company even has some sort of deal with government agencies to where they don't have to publicly announce who's buying these things. Imagine if you have so much money that you can just like say, oh, F taxes or this or that. And I'm sure they pay the tax, right? But they pay a tax to be like, hey, this is under, this doesn't go out to the public. I mean, you're talking about people that literally, Congress call up to, like, hey, can I borrow $5 or 5,000 or 500,000? Those are the people, those congressmen call. I'll show you a picture of the craziest thing, and then I'll tell you about this secret underwater lab. In fact, you can actually go on YouTube and go down this rabbit hole. Billionaires submarines. These are insane. And you would think that there's a couple actual makers. Migaloo. Oh my gosh, these things are absolutely insane. So these are full-on submarines that are like cruise ships, some of them bigger than military submarines, and it makes it look like they're not made yet, but yet they have made them. In fact, some of the companies that make some of these submersibles, they have whole plants where they pump out one at a time with yachts. The yachts are more public. These are not. Think about this. There's billionaires literally in different parts of the ocean with paid ex-Navy pilots piloting these things and staying down there for months at a time. If they were to think something was to go down, they would be in one of these, out in the ocean somewhere. Again, over 3,000 CEOs just dropped from their post in the last year. A lot of people are talking about it. It's actually called the mass CEO exodus of 2020. Think about that. Why are all these CEOs leaving? What is expected? What do they know that we don't? And what if we were going to get hit with something, an asteroid? Where would you want to be? You might want to be in the water. Why are these all of a sudden being made for all of these billionaires? And again, there's a lot more billionaires than there used to be. Just a thought. But again, I'll go back to this. This is the Fabien Cousteau. Of course, his name is famous because his dad or grandpa, Jacques Cousteau, I guess. Jacques in China. 60 feet. It doesn't sound like much, but under the weight of the water, that short distance is enough to triple the pressure of our normal atmosphere. It's about as far below as the surface as humans can live. A strange, isolated place where voice pitch goes up. Cuts heal faster. That's super weird. I did not know either one of those things. Rashes spread with abandon, and batteries deplete more quickly. That's so weird. Which is why Fabien Cousteau, ocean researcher and grandson of Jacques Cousteau, likens the challenge of building an underwater lab to crafting an international space station. That's just what he wants to build, an underwater ISS called Proteus. It says Cousteau, I can't say that damn word. Has been fundraising an unprecedented lab where researchers can come from across the globe to study the ocean for weeks or months at a time. The price tag, $135 million. To put that into perspective, one of these, by the way, $135 million. To put that in perspective, let's see here. This submarine is over $2 billion. In fact, they say one of these submarines is more, I want to say twice as much as the Burj Khalifa, one of the tallest buildings in oh my gosh. You guys are going to fill it in. The Burj Khalifa is one of the tallest buildings in the world. It is where they have all the robots and all of the crazy flying cars and decks. Flying cars, robots, princes, oil tycoons. Thanks, Dex. Suburbia.
And I'm here.
Serbia? No. Tycoons, robots. Flying cars. Where is it? My audience knows I don't.
Dubai?
Dubai. Thank you. I was trying to not go to the chat, and I know everybody's saying Dubai. And everybody is saying Dubai. Yep, everybody is saying Dubai. Yep, absolutely everyone. Well, I was the last one to get that one. Somebody said the Jetsons. Dubai. Everybody's spelling it Dubai or Doobie. Live brain fart. That is what everyone would call it, especially dad jokers. Yep. Adam is having senior moments. I'm not going to live that one down, am I? Pandora, thank you. I'm usually pretty quick at it, but that was really bad. Do you guys, dude, I went full Joe Biden there for a minute. I am so sorry. I will not have that happen again. What year is it? I can't remember. What year is it? 2020. Somebody said you've never heard of Jacques Cousteau. Yes, I've heard of him. I just couldn't remember what's it called. Anyways, Joe Biden. Love Beagles. Thank you for being here, Joe Biden. Harry the Rabbit. Global Impact. Thank you. Flippin' Burgers. Thank you for being here. Kelly2334. Here Comes the Mountain. We've got April Osborne. Thank you for modding. We've got, of course, Alish. We've got Jason78, CJ Blaze, Leslie Rodri. Thank you for the Ninja Guinea. Says, love the new setup, Adam. Would be cool if you use the background color to describe the mood of news. I actually think I thought of that before. That thing, it just does different colors, but that is a very smart. I think, Dex, I've actually said that to you. Like, have color-coded news. So if somebody was going through the replay, you could tell if it was like back in the day when we were talking about like sports, politics, that. Thought that would be interesting. Smart idea, though. Thank you, Leslie Rodri, again. I appreciate it. Ghislaine Maxwell owns a sub-company. No way. Are you effing kidding me? Foogle fan says Ghislaine Maxwell owns a sub-company. No effing way. Do you see what I mean? That is literally 2 + 2 put together right on air. All right, Char Council, love, fixin' to love you. Solar Doberman, love and light. Thank you, guys. Love you, Adam, says Char Cancel. And then we've got Butthead says, Beavis is a traitor. He is voting for, haha, who knew? Brothers would be fighting brothers. Someone has a teepee for their bunhole. We are all fed UFO, Unified Freaks Operation. Awesome. Thank you, Butthead. Thank you for your support. And that's too bad about Beavis. Again, they're bringing back Beavis and Butthead. They're revamping that. I haven't seen the new one yet, though. Wine Yard John, thank you for following. And as always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout-out. Again, it looks like closer to 10,000 people watching live, so thank you guys for all being here. Let's see here. Lola Cafe, Wine Yard John, Anthony Vincent, thank you, says, thank you for praying for Sebastian. I will follow accurate beats. Much love to you, Dex, and everyone here. Enjoy your loved ones every second. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. There's also another one I watch, but I don't know him as well. And there's a gentleman that used to do fishing videos, and he actually is going through the same thing and recovering. Delata Lodamus says, Marf, how do I get the Ninja J's or Ninja G's lemons and stuff? Delita, those are all over on DLive, so that's a different platform. Again, you are over on YouTube. If you do want to join over on DLive, you can feel free to go over there. Woman of Wonder, it is an app just like YouTube. Woman of Wonder says, love our fam too, MRSA. Shout out. So, Woman of Wonder just shouted out MRSA. Anthony Mann, Genesis 11:6, the people is one, all one language, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do Let's end world hunger. Anthony Mann, great comment. It says, and then Avery55 says, Foogle fam is the best. Listening while editing comet pics. Marf Dex and Mod Squad. That's awesome. Thank you. Melissa Persha, thank you for your support. You can always write something, do a shout out or anything else. Butthead, again, the same for you. Always write something out. And that will be much appreciated. Central Mass Attitude, again, thank you. JDS, thank you. So many thank you, sir. So I appreciate you guys all. Okay. Dex, if you want to bring in the first caller, it looks like it's going to go with it. Again, the number to call is 224400 Marf. You've got one line open. You guys better get your call in right now. Ronnie, first time caller, Predictive Programming.
Hey, and this is Dex. Ronnie, you are now live on Marfoogle News.
OH.
I-O. What's going on, Ronnie?
There we go. You got it. How you doing, Mark?
What's
what
going
up,
on?
Dex?
Hey, so obviously, you're from New Jersey. Wait a second.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we got another Ohio caller tonight. So, or former Ohio, I guess you are.
Oh, I'm not from Ohio.
Oh, you just
I just
love
wanted
the
to say
team.
that.
Oh, awesome. Well, Ronnie, you wanted to talk about predictive programming while watching the baseball game. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes. Well, before I go anywhere, I want to say thank you to the mods. You guys are great. Dex, Adam, the whole family, you guys are awesome. Thank you for all you do. Today, as I'm watching the game, a commercial came on about a job site, and it's telling you, you go to work, that, you know what, and in the job description they're giving out for the positions available, one of the most prominent ones is it says contacting. I didn't say tracing after the fact, but it says contacting. You know where I'm going with it?
Yeah. No. Yeah. So, are they actually advertising for those positions on baseball? I mean,
yes, right on ESP something else.
Okay. We can't say ESPN. That is one good thing. So they are actually hiring from commercials on television to do tracing?
Yes.
That's unbelievable.
But not only are they doing that, that's the first commercial that comes on at the, when the first commercial comes on. That's the same one over and over and over again.
What's really crazy is there's you type it in and it's just boom. There's already companies that are doing this. Like, wow.
And this just happened probably 20 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago. And it's still going on. From both the Yankees game and the Dodgers game.
This is okay. So I was just talking to the person who owns the barbershop, and they said that they are basically at the will of what goes on. And they said, from what they heard, that we were 100% going to have to shut down again. And think about that. This person actually did what they said that they were advised to keep 3 months rent all to the side so they could actually, I guess, have an emergency kind of rainy day fund. They did that. This person was responsible. They went down. Their whole business was shut down for 3 months. They had, they said that their rent was $7,000 a month. So they don't have people cutting hair. Nobody's paying to cut hair. They don't have their stylist paying them. They don't have anything. But they're still paying $7,000. She did that and paid $21,000. And now she's been open for 2 weeks, and she may have to close down again. One of the first places to go: nails, hair, tattoos, all of that. So what I want to know
because
is,
of the social distancing.
But she said, I think this is going to go forever. She remodeled her place and added 4 more. She took out rooms in her whole place in the back to put more hair cutting things so they would be farther apart. because she believes it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
a permanent thing. And I think she's right. That's what's crazy
But
about
that's
this.
the thing. It's not only nail salons and hair cutting places. Think about when winter comes, those restaurants. Right now, they can only see people outside. When it's cold, people will not sit outside to eat their food. So those businesses will have that ahead of them to deal with that as well.
It's absolutely nuts. I mean, like, this is gonna be a permanent thing.
It's crazy.
It's scary.
You also said something else with this Project Bluebeam thing coming up. I'm actually reading on the Independent an article about a planetary system that looks just like ours that was found, and that is they saying it has life. So they're confirming life. It's crazy, but I'm thinking they're prepping us for the next coming up. Also, if you go back into the Economist, the new cover that came out, it gives you a good timeline.
Are you talking about the brand new 2020 cover? I know last year's was all over the internet. I don't believe I've seen any debunks I guess decoding on the other one. So let's see. Let's look up the new Economist cover. Go ahead.
Okay, well, if you see it, it's people on the couch, right? And they're seeing all these things in the background with the pictures, and everything works month by month. And with this Project Bluebeam coming up, if you look at the female, we'll see what happens.
Now wait a second.
Right around this time.
So I'm trying to find. It just showed it. So this was the Economist cover after the one with all the weird with the pangolin, which, by the way, the 2019 before any of this happened showed a pangolin on it. It showed all sorts of things. It showed DT. It showed VR. It showed the guy with the goggles. And later on, Microsoft had that weird, scary ass advertisement, and it ended up being by the weird artist and all that kind of stuff. This says
and everything played out.
You're right. So I can't find this couch one. I know that there was this one, which looks like, of course, an eye test.
Well, as you're looking for it and you find it, you'll see, well, for the rest of the people to see, you'll see a family sitting on the couch looking at the TV. We are the TV, but they're wearing masks. And behind, there are pictures that depict things that are happening thus far this year. They have a pig in one of them, and I heard something about swine flu or some type of flu that was coming back out that was related to pigs. Then it has a volcano erupting.
And a meteor.
Then next there.
Are you effing kidding me? Are you effing kidding me right now?
Yes.
Look at the back. This is absolutely nuts.
Well, the thing is, things are happening. Yes, we understand this as well. But you also look at the lies behind. They do have technology to make us believe that those things will happen in front of our eyes, and they actually may not happen. For example, when this whole pandemic thing started, they were saying that in Italy they didn't have spaces for the bodies, right? Same thing in China. But now, if you look around, you haven't seen nobody. There is no bodies. You don't see nothing stacking up. You don't see no tombs just overwhelming with bodies. But we believe there's a pandemic going on.
Yeah, we'll try not to say that. Otherwise, we won't have a channel to say it on.
I apologize.
Yeah, this is very creepy. So is this a special issue, I'm guessing? This says June 27th to July 3rd. And it says the next catastrophe and how to survive it. And then it literally shows an asteroid heading towards Earth, which, again, we talked about, but nobody else is. The pig, the volcano, water apparently flooded. It shows no land anywhere else. And then the virus. And then why ducks?
But also you see a flash in the background with the bird. So you see the bird's shadow.
And look, there, like something is flashing right there. And then over on the very right side, there is a nuke, and then here's a solar flare. Like this is.
But
like,
if you look at it, it's kind of like a whole year calendar. If you just pay close attention to it. But I'm taking so much time, and I don't really have much information. I'm using common sense.
No, I never saw this before. So thank you so much for calling in. I do appreciate you. And Ronnie, call in anytime, all right?
I do have a channel I do want to mention just in case. I started doing a lot of meditations. I know you mentioned yourself that you're having strange dreams. There is a way that you can actually tap into them and help yourself out. And sometimes you can get answers to any life questions that you have just through your dreams. If you pay attention, that can help you out with that. And you don't have to do anything or talk to anybody about anything, and you can help yourself. So if you want to, my channel should be in your link.
Ronnie, I already pulled it up. Everybody's going to know where it's at. I'm going to end up showing that right now. If you guys want to check out Ronnie Nunez, his link will be on marfooglenews.com. You can check him out. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, guys. God bless, man. And I'll see you guys around.
Have a good night, Ronnie. All right, and then, again, his link and will be over on marfooglenews.com. That is so creepy. Why have I not seen that yet? I guess, I saw the 2020 as far as the whole T-Man, the Brexit, all that kind of stuff being put on there. Does economists now, just try to be symbolic to try to, put stuff out there now? It's just like they're blatantly just doing symbology now. I wonder if they actually sit around and actually kind of think about what they could put on there. The one before CV came out, they had a pangolin on that cover. I mean, did you guys see all the symbology? The VR goggles, the hemp, and the justice, everything on there. There's a whole decode, a really great channel that did a great decode on the T-Man stuff and DNA, all of this kind of stuff. Relevant Truth. You have to go to the female. There's another Relevant Truth channel, I believe, that's a guy. You have to go to the female one. She used to be a mod for us. She has moved on, does her own stuff, but she did a really great video on it. It was really, really amazing. So go check out her channel as well. Dex, if you want to pull in the next caller here.
Foogle News.
Hey, Adam and Marfoogle fam, how's it going?
What is going on, Joseph? Is this Joseph Newhouse, right?
Joseph Newhouse, yeah. So I've got probably one of the best videos that I've ever, for the Foogle fam, I've made, about the Bricklayers Association and stuff like that. And this one, I think it was yesterday that you posted about that mysterious blue hole with the green banana. And so I made this video because I've been talking about mythology relating to, like Asgard and stuff like that. And so I kind of just put two and two together and realized have you seen the Hobbit movie or Lord of the Rings?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so those giant eagles, and like in a couple of videos where I was talking about the Earth's magnetic field, we were looking at the world tree from mythology, and it always has, the eagle at the top of the tree. And so I was thinking about the giant eagles in the Hobbit and if it could relate to the mythology. And so I kind of looked into that, and it lines up because I'm usually talking about, the Holy Grail and stuff like that. And it totally lines up. The first minute or so there's going to be kind of like the intro to that movie with some, but it goes along with the rest of the video. And Yeah, and I also today you posted about the what was it? The Lagrange. Oh yeah, the Comet Interceptor you posted on Twitter. And so I was looking at it, and they were talking about the Comet Interceptor at it's going to put it in a parking orbit around the Lagrange point, and so that's interesting. But they say that Neowise is in a almost parabolic orbit, and so I was looking up parabolic and orbits relating to that. It's kind of interesting, but there's a second article.
Well,
that
so
I'm going to talk
just to
about.
explain,
I started the video just before you started the show. I got to finish it.
Everybody's going to get lost though here.
But if you just
Joseph, can you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You got it. Okay, I didn't know if I was muted. So again, before people get lost, the Comet Interceptor is literally a satellite that the ESA is going to put out there and just park it out there, and they're saying, oh, well, we'll put it out there and hope that something comes by. I think they know something is going on here. This thing is supposed to come by and then study another meteor or comet. Why all of these things? It's called the Interceptor. Is it really just a research thing, or is this another kind of defense thing? Or is it going to snatch on to one that they think is going to hit us and then try to fly it off course? I think there's something up. It's called an interceptor, a comet interceptor. And they're just telling us, oh, yeah, it's for research. I don't know about that. That's just my opinion on it. But so you're covering that and everything else in your videos?
Yeah. Can you hear me? So you were just showing that that image with that supposed project, and it shows the kind of parabolic shape. So that's like the shape of a parabol, and we're at like 4 minutes. So if you could just real quick type into Google topological, TOPOLOGICAL, magnet quantum, and there's this picture in the news from Princeton University, and it has this crazy, it's called a trihexagonal lattice, and so I'm going to talk about that. That's just crazy looking, but it kind of goes along with the other stuff that I've been talking about in a way. I was going to talk about it yesterday, but I wasn't sure about it. But anyway, yeah, that's all I have for you.
All right.
But I really think everyone should check out that video that I first mentioned. Probably going to put, pieces together for other people that have seen, stuff that I've been talking about.
Okay, and by the way, if you guys don't know, Joseph does kind of he'll take a topic from the show and he'll go down a deeper rabbit hole, and he associates a lot with a lot of our Foogle fam too, and they go over and they'll watch and they'll go down these deep dark holes. He finds stuff I never would have ever thought about, like this topological magnetosphere, whatever that is. Either way. Again, you guys can go to Joseph's channel and check that out. Thank you, Joseph, for calling again. I appreciate you, and thank you for always doing, you're always in service of everybody. You're trying to help everybody. You're always trying to inform people, so I appreciate you so much, and thank you for being a part of the fam.
Thanks, Adam. Have a good night, and thanks, Dex, and all the mods and everybody.
All right, you guys have a good night. Dex, if we could get in the next caller, which it looks like we have.
Yeah. Up next, we have Rock and Roll Mama.
Rock and Roll Mama, you are live on Marfoogle News. What is going on?
Hello, how are you doing this evening?
Doing good.
It's great to finally get through.
Well, it was a good night for it. First-time caller saying Bartelsman to invest $230 million in U.S. education. What's up with that?
Yeah, so that is a older story that I heard about through one of our fellow Foogle family members on Discord. She worked for Hot Chalk. And I hope it's okay. I'm telling her story. This is what she told me. She worked for Hot Chalk, which is like an online education company. And when they got bought by the Bertelsmann Group, supposedly, allegedly, she said they were told that eventually Americans were going to be begging for all online education.
What?
And this was like several years ago.
What?
So she and all her coworkers were looking at each other like, what are they talking about? This is kind of weird. And now here we are. But what's really interesting about that particular group, you can look up Bertelsmann Group. They own a lot of media and things in Europe. They also have the Bertelsmann Foundation, which has a think tank in Washington, D.C., and I believe it's called How to Fix Democracy. So I think they just have a lot of influence. And it's just interesting that they may have had some kind of idea that we were headed for
this
all online education.
Yeah. So basically what she is saying is that they knew a few years back, and they were basically hinting, hey, don't worry, when this happens, everyone is going to be online schooling. So this company owns a big chunk of what is going to be our new kids' school. So how did they know, or was it just a happy coincidence that the entire company knew that they were going to be absolutely giant, and that they would have growth into the double digits, their growth rate, and that everyone would be begging in America for online schooling? Think about that. That is really crazy. That's nuts.
Well, yeah, and it's just interesting because it all kind of ties back into, some of these big players, key players on the global scale, 10 years ago, like in that Rockefeller Foundation papers, they were saying these are the possible scenarios that need to happen to roll out technocracy. And one of them was the pandemic, the P-demic. Yeah. And so, I'm sure some of the people out there have looked that up, and I mean, this is exactly what's happening. So, it just seems like a lot of things have lined up and kind of pointed in the same direction. And I think that we have a delay, so I'm so sorry if I'm talking over you at any point.
No, that's okay. You're not.
The other thing I wanted to...
Now you are.
Okay. Sorry. The other thing I wanted to mention was there's these books that I read, and they're from the 90s, and they're out of Russia, and I know Russia has like a bad connotation and everything, but the people of Russia are people just like we are, and there are these books that have kind of like a spiritual significance, and they're called The Ringing Cedars of Russia, and they are supposedly true stories, true accounts of the author, Vladimir Magray, meeting a woman named Anastasia. And basically he met her in the 90s, and she told him that not in the not too distant future that we would be in danger of basically a technological takeover or technocracy, and that mankind needed to get some information, good information to prepare for that, because we need to avoid a full-on technocracy. Technology is a great tool, but I think she and a lot of people feel like we don't want to hand over every aspect of our human being, biological selves and spiritual selves over to someone else. And I think that was what she was saying mankind was in danger of. But she also said that we've done it before, and that this is like a cycle. So supposedly, allegedly, we've done all of this before. But basically, these books have now started a whole movement called the Family Homestead Movement. And it's basically this really awesome spiritual return to just getting back to the land and living self-sustainably and off the grid. And also just, it's all about educating your children in a way that's like wholesome and like family oriented and positive and uplifting. And it's just interesting. A lot of the things that she says in the books are things that are happening now. And I think years ago when I first read the books, I thought, when is this going to happen? You know, that sounds so far-fetched, and now it's all kind of happening.
And by the way,
it's worth checking it out.
No. I'm sure you just sent 1,000 people down different rabbit holes here. By the way, I typed in Thomas Rabe. First, I typed in the company, the first company, right? I was just curious. Yeah. I was just curious to see if they were at the Bilderberg, right? And then all of a sudden, I find that he is at the World Economic Forum, and he was meeting with different prime ministers and all these new people, and they are, meeting in private rooms. It's just really freaking creepy. I mean, we're talking about J.P. Morgan, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, all these guys meeting, and then Thomas Rabe was there, and then the other CEO left, citing personal reasons. Right at the end of 2019, the exodus, the mass CEO exodus. What the heck is going on? Something big is here.
Well, what's interesting is this does tie into this Anastasia woman from Russia, because she basically says that it's all coming from one direction. It's all, like you say, kind of like this big pyramid, and the people kind of pulling the strings. In those books, the Ring Cedars books, she lays it all out. I mean, she not even really exposes, but she tells the truth about why all of this is the way it is, going all the way back to like Egypt and how it all started, and how it's basically all created by these priests or whoever they are. They were Egyptian priests, and they know everything about the power of imagery and the science of imagery, and how the human mind we are like the creator in that we are also creators, and that it is the science of the power of your dreams, which is, ties into what Ronnie Nunez was saying. Our dreams are what create reality, and that the creator, the first creator, is the first one that created the universe through a dream. And so basically all of this knowledge has been slowly removed from our human consciousness and purposely removed. And that the ultimate deviance from our spiritual selves and our creative selves is a technocracy, where we no longer have our freedom to be creative and be creators. That is who we are. And that's what we need to avoid. We can use technology as a tool to help us in our journey, but that we also need to remember who we are spiritually, and that we are creators and we are of the creator, and we are in that likeness. But she goes into the whole, if you've ever wondered, does someone have inside knowledge on, the Illuminati and all that stuff? This woman gives out all of their secrets, and she even tells some of the secrets that they didn't even share amongst themselves. So it's really interesting. The fourth book is the most important book of the whole series. It's called Co-Creation, and that's because that's what we do. We all live here together, and we co-create together, and we do it alongside with the creator. So I just wanted to share that with you, because she actually has a bright vision of the future, and we are going to go through this window of darkness, is what she calls it. But we will pass. We will pass through it, and we will make it, because, she says that, she and all the other people who are awake are here for a reason, and we are here to wake each other up and get each other on the right path. So.
Well, thank you so much for bringing all that to the table, and thank you for. Now I'm going to be digging into not only that, but the World Economic Forum and the different meetings. It's like a similar to the builder Mr. Bergs, and then I'm going to be looking at the last 2 years. I really appreciate you. Got one more call right behind you, but thank you so much for calling. Go ahead.
May I shout out to Serenity, PA, because I was always wasn't always, but I tried to go to the voice meetings on the Discord, and I really, really got so much out of it, and I wouldn't have been prepared for all of this if it hadn't been for you, Marf, and Dex, and the mods, and you guys have just helped me so much. And it all started after I saw like a UFO a year ago, and I watched a Mr. MBB 333 video, and then you got suggested. So that's how I got here.
That is awesome, and thank you for letting me know how you got here. I always ask if you do know how you were, found me, put it in the comments below.
Yeah.
And that goes for all of you guys too.
It was a fun rabbit hole.
Well, yeah, now you're still here a year later. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Oh, one more thing. And I just want to say, like, I'm also more on the left of things politically. And I just want to tell everybody out there, like, I think you guys are awesome. And I feel like comfortable in this group and in this family. And I don't even feel like I have to agree with everybody on everything. So I just want to say I'm representing, other points of view. And I feel like this is a healthy family.
That is, I hope that the censor gods see that, and we can do it successfully. That's what it should be. We should go, oh, I disagree on that. Okay, let's keep going. Instead of, I'm going to slit your...
Yeah.
Well, thank you. All right, well, you have a wonderful night.
I'll debate with people on Twitter, and I always tell them I'm a Democrat, or what. I don't even think I'm a Democrat anymore, honestly. So whatever. I'm just sort of on the left. But I feel comfortable, and thank you guys for being so awesome.
Absolutely. Well, you have a great night, and thank you so much for representing. We have, that was Rock and Roll Mama, first-time caller. Hopefully it's not her last. Backwoods Ingenuity is up next. Backwoods Ingenuity, you are live on Marfoogle News.
What's up, Adam? Rest of the Foogle fam and all the mods and Dex. How y'all doing?
How are you doing? Backwoods, you've been here for a long time as well. Thank you for coming tonight. By the way, just real quick before we get started, Designated Dan for Life, thank you guys. Mersa1, thank you for being here as well. Greatest love. Audrey's Visual Arts, always enjoy watching. Thanks for the hard work. I appreciate all of you. Ray Smith, Donna Lair, thank you for subscribing. And Skyla, hey Marf, Dex, ma'am, every show, first time in chat. Keep up the amazing job, guys. Much love. And hello, Duck. I am watching you, Duck. You thought you were watching me? That's the other way around. I'm watching you, Duck. All right, now we can get started on the call. Backwoods, you've been here for a long time, at least a year. What's going on?
Yeah, it's probably been close to a year, maybe, somewhere around that.
So you wanted to talk about
real
food.
Quick about some food prep ideas. A while back, whenever all of this stuff started going around, people were buying up a bunch of toilet paper, which really made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
A little while after that, they started realizing I can't eat toilet paper. Then they started grabbing everything off the canned food shelves. Well, a good way to go ahead and prep some of this stuff to set aside or even bury in caches is to take a 5-gallon bucket with Gamma Seal lids. And I've actually done this 3 times. In one 5-gallon bucket, I was able to put, and this is all mostly store brand products as well, 1 can of beef stew, 8 packets of tea, 9 packets of coffee. Let's see here. Yeah, 1 pound of oats, 2 cans of tuna, 3 cans of Vienna sausages, 1 can of Spam, a box of rice, a box of the 6-pack of peanut butter crackers, can of corned beef hash, 1 can of green beans, corn, baked beans, mixed veggies, sliced oranges, 1 pack of dry instant milk, a can of spaghetti, beef soup, chicken soup, a package of chicken ramen, and beef jerky. I was able to fit all of that into a simple 5-gallon bucket. And believe it or not, I think I did 3 buckets for less than $200.
Okay, so by the way, just so people know, the 5-gallon bucket is like kind of the bucket you would get at Home Depot or like a mop bucket type size. That bucket you filled with all of that food.
Yeah, it's like the ones you get at Home Depot, Lowe's, Tractor Supply. I get mine at Tractor Supply because they have the Gamma Seal lids there, which are good for keeping out moisture, keeping out bugs. It's a watertight seal lid.
Gotcha. And would they keep out radiation? That's a good question. Probably not.
Probably not. You might have to get some better grade stuff for that.
Yeah.
Probably a lead bucket at that point.
Well, I wonder.
And even
about
then,
that
if you don't have a lot of money to be able to, like, sorry, I kind of cut you off
well,
there.
Well, no. How did you do that for under $200? It did. I always tell people too, don't be above. There's canned food banks have canned foods a lot, and that's a great way that a lot of people go to.
All right, I did it for under $200 because I was using store brand products, and pretty much anything I could find that was near the clearance but still had an extended shelf life. Maybe the box was dinged on the side and it was something I could take out of the box. It was still prepackaged. So it took a little bit of looking around. Those prices were kind of low in my area, here at the coastal area of South Carolina.
Well, you also probably where you're at, and it does look like you're in a. The thing is, though, it's not stable all across the country. So, say in Seattle, that same can of chili is like $4 for a can. It's crazy. I don't know if it's $4. It's probably about $3. But you go somewhere else in the country, it's $1.10, and it doesn't make any sense. It's priced differently depending on where you live. But I do know that a lot of the stuff, like you said, you went out and you were purposely trying to look for the kind of here's a ding in the can, you can get a discount on that, or there's an open in the box but it's still sealed. That kind of stuff is a really great way that a lot of people, if they really they say, I don't have any money, you can do a lot with very little if you know what you're doing. So it's a great point, Backwoods.
Oh, yeah. And if you're using the 5-gallon buckets, like I was saying earlier, to have the Gamma Seal lids to lock out the moisture, if there's anything in there that has to stay in a relatively cool climate, you can bury these buckets, and it's just a foot or two below the ground level that the ground stays cooler, and it'll keep out the water if you have any issues with flooding. And if you mark it on a map, because GPSs might not work in case of say EMP, mark it down on a map exactly where it's at. You can go back to it later, and if you're in a prepping group, I would still say don't share that information with everybody. Keep a few caches to yourself just in case things go sideways with the group.
I'm sorry.
Information gets
out. If you have buried food, I wouldn't tell anybody about it. Especially when things hit the fan, people are going to look to us. The very first thing they're going to do is go, I know him. He's a prepper, because they're not going to be prepped. Nobody's going to be, and it's sad to say that. I will help my friends and I'll help my neighbors. I'll try to do my best to help people. But at the same point, what about the stranger you met at the gas station that knows that you have prepped food and comes and robs it from you? That's one thing that you got to think about if you are in the prepping field. People will know that. People know that you prep. So it's not exactly something you want to advertise 100%. But well, backwards.
No, it's a good thing to be able to teach people, but kind of don't let them know everything.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Backwoods, thank you for calling in tonight. We are at the end of our show. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
Yep. The real quick to explain the live free, travel light, work hard thing. Live free, basically enjoy life the best you can. We're not going to be here forever. Travel light, you can't carry the world on your shoulders. If you ever feel like you're stressed out and everything's taking its toll on you, sit down and talk with somebody. I mean, you don't have to carry everything. And even with prepping and bug out stuff, if you're getting ready to hit the road, you can only carry so much before it slows you down. And working hard, the more you work, the less time you got to worry about everything else. It kind of keeps the crazy away.
I agree with that. And again, talking to people too. There's a lot of men, especially out there, that will not talk about their problems and they'll hold it in. You guys, everybody is here for you. Everybody in the Foogle fam. You guys, there's tons of really great people, especially in the chat. We're going to begin a new forum because our Discord got taken down because of military groups. They were taking down military groups.
Right.
So we're going to make our own forum. We're still working on that. And, you know, a lot of people lost their whole purpose here. So we're trying to get that back. And thank you, Backwoods Ingenuity, for being an awesome helper in the Foogle fam, for being, you know, kind of your own leader there. So thank you.
All right. Thank you for having me on the show, and I wish all of you the best. Y'all have a good one.
Alrighty. And, of course, we put Backwoods Ingenuity, if you guys, he is, I hope he eventually puts up some more videos because it looks like Racing Lawnmower Speed Run Epic Wheelie is a great video, but it's not as helpful as he is always on his calls. Again, Dex, let's see here. Obviously, you've got preps too. You don't probably, advertise it to all of your neighbors.
Yeah, I have preps. And as far as anybody else knows, I don't have any preps.
I have preps. I don't have preps.
Exactly.
I have preps. I don't have preps. Who are you? I don't have preps. Well, Dex, you are a lovely prepper, not prepper. And thank you for your help, not help, tonight.
Great show, Brady. Appreciate it.
Now, hey, Dex, where are we at? What time are we at right now?
We are right around, you got about 15 minutes before we hit it, I think, or less.
No
Let me
way.
see. I'm pulling it up now.
Can we find out exactly where we're at time-wise?
You got 9 minutes and 30, you got 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
8 minute and 29 second shoutro right now. It's not a shout out. It's not an outro. It's a shoutro. Aliens and asteroids.
Smith on a lyre and Sky aloud. Walter Stokes and Christopher, well, Tate, thank you for following. Butthead, thanks for hollering. When you yarded John and thanks, I coming back around and Hanks. Tom Hanks, that is Lola Cafe. Anthony, oh, Vincent, Nana, Delada, and Lodamus, and hello, Duck. Hey, on the woman of wonder. Hey, that Anthony man, I love the bowl. You know this thing was planned. Central Mass Attitude and Anthony Vincent and Captain William Wings and Wags Patriot. Kiss the sky and the one love and the Cali Kit Kat great show is always. Kihaja Fly Girl, Maui Racing, Realtor, Great Is a Love, Duck Hawk, and all of the rest, and all of them raw as Joe Tire, JDS, and the rest. There's a history and able body. Mr. Eddie and Stiletti. What a pal, that chalky gal. What a man, Foogle fan. Ooh, so meaty, a renegade Petey. Thank you, Mercer, for being tied at number one. But of course, Amy R is above everyone. Oh, the all-time high, Amy R, aka Mini 70 and Tower Bear. That truck up, thank you for being on the top. Thank you for giving more than you needed to do. I like the day. I like the say aliens and asteroids. I like the way. I like the day. I like the say aliens and asteroids. Aliens and asteroids. Aliens and asteroids. I like the say aliens and asteroids. Shinobi 1, restoring light, Church of Christ. Pastor Abel shining the resin, mining mosquitoes and butterflies. And type of light with Tino Brown and Willie fix it now. I bring it all the way up just to bring it back on down. Hey, backwards ingenuity, got to go and see. I love my Foogle family. Aliens and asteroids, I'm gonna destroy that girl, go back in how you were. Debbie, yo, child of God, unicorn, forest and high, going back, and here comes the mountain, and I love he goes. We're gonna be hosting somebody random, but not yeah. Oh, say you've gotta go back, you've gotta go back, gotta bring it all the way back down, back down, back down, back down, back down, back down. Oh. Gotta get the Green Bay wacky, gotta show 'em that love, gotta go back.